this new candidate, a consensus candidate, how difficult was it for them to come to this consensus, these parties?
Almost impossible, because he brought around parties from far right, center left, Turkish nationalist, even pro-Kurdish party. So it was very difficult. And actually, a few days ago, the far right party, Turkish Nationalist Party, decided not to join them, because there are 6 parties in the coalition. And they said, we are not happy because Kılıçdaroğlu is not a candidate that can win the elections. We want the mayors of either Istanbul or Ankara, otherwise will not be there. But there was a backlash from the all opposition, not just the parties, but the people who oppose Erdogan, who are fed up with Erdogan and his authoritarianism, populism, etc. And these people are at 60% of the electorate. And they were not happy with the decision of the far-right party. And she was convinced to come back to the table, and she accepted that, okay, Kılıçdaroğlu would be the candidate. But then what she was asking, that these 2 mayors should also be candidates. So Kılıçdaroğlu said that, okay, I will make them my deputies, deputy presidents when I am elected. So this is a very good compromise, because these 2 mayors are very popular. Istanbul is a city of 15 million people, and he's a very popular mayor, especially younger generations. And Kılıçdaroğlu is a little old, and they were saying, you are old, there is no excitement among the especially younger.
And that's such a good question, a point though, because does he have the charisma? Erdogan is a strong campaigner, and he's going to fight to the end. Has he got the charisma? Does he have the experience?
The question is this: charisma, is it good? Because we Turkish people have been suffering from charisma, because charismatic personalities, personalist regimes, one-man regimes, this populism. And I think many people in Turkey, I'm talking about the 60% who are not happy with the Erdoganist authoritarianism, they are simply thinking that we don't really need charisma, because we end up with corruption and all these troubles. Earthquake happened and the state was not there, and civil society organizations were trying to help many people. Tens of thousands of people died. So actually charisma is not the primary factor now. Anti-Erdoganism is the thing, because, as I said, people are suffering. Economy is not in a good shape. There is an economic crisis, and it is all Erdogan's making, because Turkish economic situation was good, but because he insisted on keeping interest rates low, despite the opposition of the economists, professors, he said, I'm an economist, I know everything, etc. So many people are suffering. They are poor, they are jobless, etc. So charisma is not the real thing. But also Kılıçdaroğlu is gaining a sort of charisma now. So he's learning politics. He's been in politics for 20 years, but now he has a sort of different...
He might be a calm, steady...
This is what is needed. So he is the one who can bring people from all backgrounds together. So he is a sort of, I would say, a wise man, elder, that many people respect, regardless of their background. And even the Kurdish opposition, who has been oppressed by the Turkish state for many decades, now they said they would support Kılıçdaroğlu if he is a candidate.
Which is a huge breakthrough, because, you know, to your point about Erdogan's authoritarianism, he's suppressed a lot of people. He has cracked down on almost any form of opposition. Do you think these earthquakes is what is going to make the difference in this election?
I'm not really sure, because he has been skillfully manipulating the people's mindsets, and he's been using all this civilizational populism, these conspiracy theories, the West is against us, and some of his supporters were saying that the Americans did it, the earthquake, so it is an artificial one, they don't love us because Turkey is the leader of the Muslim world, etc. Also, he has been using religion a lot, and he's been very skillful at it, so he just keeps religious terminology, and in Turkey, many people unfortunately buy this. So he says, this is God's work. So whenever something good happens, it is Erdogan's work, it is his success. And when there is an accident, disaster, mining disaster, etc., because of the mistakes of the government, because there are not sufficient measures there, safety measures, the laws were not followed, or there's corruption. They simply...
And the building codes weren't
exactly,
kept up to speed,
because they are all his cronies who are building these buildings, and they are simply funding Erdogan's political party and movement, etc. So suddenly, these become God's work. God's plan, fate, etc. So I would say it's 50-50. So half of the people there would continue to support Erdogan because there is huge polarization. So I'm not sure if the earthquake would change it a lot, but even before the earthquake, 60% of the people were against him.
Wanted him out. Although to your point, he has played that role as leader of the Muslim world, and quite effectively in many regards. Do you think that is a big key for Turkey into the future, that role is still played by Turkey as a sort of go-between between East and West?
Yes, but then this was on the paper to a great extent. So many people in the Western world, in the Muslim world, they were not really following Turkey's lead, especially their political leaders or the states. And Erdogan, especially in the last 10 years, had trouble with almost all these Muslim nations. So actually he was boasting about it, saying, I'm the leader, but in the Muslim world, people don't know that you are the leader, you are the caliph, etc. So Turkey is a sort of soft power because it's westernized, part of Europe, part of NATO. He's been using all these things, but when you Islamize the country a lot, then you lose your attractiveness in the eyes of these people. Yeah. So he's been using this victimhood, so anti-Western feelings, Palestine issue, and similar issues, saying that, oh, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, it is all the West's fault, we are in a deep economic crisis, it is the West's fault, etc. Yeah. But they all have a sort of value to a certain extent, and then they become useless. Yeah. And he used them a lot, and there are many things that he cannot explain with the West's mistakes or their enmity, etc. So maybe for the 40% of the people who follow him, it still works, but for the others, it doesn't. And actually, Turkish society is becoming secularized to a certain extent because of him, because he's been abusing religion a lot, and they say, we give up. Yeah.